He's been fighting wars since the 1960s with only brief periods of rest to reinvent himself for the next generation of combat. But his core commitment to action, adventure, and accessories has always carried him through. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and these are 10 things you need to know about G.I. Joe, Volume 1. Number 1. G.I. Joe debuted in 1964, but the story starts long before that. Brothers Henry Hillel and Herman Hassenfeld, three Polish immigrants to the United States, started a textile business in Providence, Rhode Island in 1923. They officially incorporated the business in 1926, calling themselves Hassenfeld Brothers. Fast forward a few years, business expands to include school supplies, and then later in the 1930s, toys as well. Super fast forward to the 1950s, and they hit it big with Mr. Potato Head and start branding their items with the name Hasbro. Number 2. In 1963, Hasbro was approached to produce a toy promoting a TV show called The Lieutenant. Hasbro didn't want to tie a product to a show that may only last 1 or 2 seasons. They decided to develop their own military figure instead and were heavily inspired by Mattel's success with Barbie dolls, which were really just a way to sell the clothing and accessories. Hasbro wanted to push the realism and action features because there was no way they were going to be able to sell fashion dolls to boys. The word went out, we are not selling dolls, we are selling action figures. And so it was, and so it is, and so it shall be evermore. Number 3. Government issue, or GI, was a common abbreviation that originated during World War I. It was stamped on everything from underwear to potatoes. A 1945 film titled The Story of G.I. Joe, starring Robert Mitchum and Burgess Meredith, provided the inspiration for the name of the Hasbro line. According to Don Levine, Vice President and Director of Marketing and Development, the name G.I. Joe was perfect because Government Issue Joe was a real everyman title. Number 4. G.I. Joe took his articulation cues from a wooden artist's posing model. The mission for the Hasbro staff was to create a figure that could move the way the human body could, taking the focus of the play structure off the changing of outfits and putting it on the movement and action. I mean, yeah, he's still going to have a bunch of outfits and accessories, and you're going to have to take the time to redress him, but never forget that the ultimate goal is action and adventure. The creation of G.I. Joe resulted in several patents owned by Hasbro, including some of the specific engineering aspects of the figure which were independently patent-worthy. Hasbro also introduced cosmetic details like the scar on Joe's cheek to differentiate themselves from copycats who were trying to get in on that sweet 12-inch movable fightin' man money. Number 5. In the first 2 years, 1964 and 1965, G.I. Joe would do nearly $40 million in sales, which was about 2/3 of Hasbro's total business. However, things changed in 1968 when everyone suddenly decided they were tired of war toys. Thanks for nothing, Vietnam. Why couldn't you have been one of the popular wars? By the way, team here at Hasbro, if I could have everyone's attention, we patented everything in the office here except the term action figure. You're all fired. Number 6. To separate themselves from the parts of war that are horrible, Hasbro reinvented the line as The Adventures of G.I. Joe. They were now free to focus on the excitement of having a beard, doing kung fu, looting ancient burial grounds, punching snakes, and fighting against intruders who looked like cavemen but were allegedly highly intelligent, tiny little strongmen from outer space who should in no way be interpreted as a social or political commentary. They are just highly intelligent cavemen from outer space, bent on world domination. Sure. Number 7. Joe would be joined by the rest of his adventuring team after missing out on the Bionic Man license to Kenner in 1975 and the explosion of superhero popularity due to Mego's World's Greatest Superheroes line. Mike Power, the Atomic Man, no relation to Steve Austin, the Bionic Man, and Bullet Man, no relation to DC Comics' Bullet Man, were his partners in shark fighting and eagle observing. On the surface, though, they're two toys that feel like a pair of petulant middle fingers from Hasbro to the rest of the action figure world as a response to being spurned for newer, more exciting toys with cool TV shows and comic books instead of daydreams about skiing with polar bears or digging a hole on the moon. Number 8. G.I. Joe started from a place of innovative articulation in service of realism. Over the life of the line, Hasbro would continue to develop new gimmicks that enhanced the realism and added layers to the play structure. From flocked hair and beards to the signature kung fu grip, from pull-string activated talking to pivoting eagle eyes that let the figure look left and right, these innovations became synonymous with the Hasbro brand and the G.I. Joe line. Remember, they aren't dolls, they're technically innovative 1/6 scale action figures. Number 9. G.I. Joe was licensed out to foreign manufacturers like Palitoy in the UK and Takara in Japan. Palitoy sold the line as Action Force and even had outfits and accessories exclusive to the UK market. In 1972, Takara would repurpose the licensed G.I. Joe body mold in transparent plastic with cyborg guts and call it Henshin Cyborg. The popularity of Henshin Cyborg and the desire to produce vehicles for the character, as well as the increase in oil prices necessary to make plastic toys in the 1970s, would result in Takara developing a smaller, roughly 4-inch line of figures called Microman. Microman would later be licensed by Mego for release in the US as the Micronauts, and in Japan it evolved into Microchange, which was produced alongside Diaclone, which was just Microchange figures in a smaller scale, but also featured transforming robot vehicles, which would all be licensed and imported by Hasbro to the United States as the Transformers after they were looking for another property to build on the success of their G.I. Joe line. There is no beginning, there is no end, everything has been done before. Time is a flat circle. Everything we have done or will do, we will do over and over again forever. It's all connected. And somehow Matt Tracker is in there now. Number 10. The 12-inch G.I. Joe line gave way to the changing marketplace as action figures got smaller and multimedia tie-ins as marketing became crucial to the profitability of the brand. While the line officially ended in 1976, he can still be found on the G.I. Joe Collectors Club website to this day, as new figures, outfits, and accessories are still manufactured in that original style for collectors who grew up with the original line and can't imagine him ever retiring from active duty. After 50 years, America's movable fighting man, the original action figure, is still pursuing adventures and fighting the good fight. Even though the popularity of the 12-inch line was eclipsed by the 3 3/4-inch scale figures in the 80s, the legacy of the original can never be duplicated. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like, hit subscribe, share this video on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Facebook, and is that it? Is there a new thing yet? Let us know in the comments below if you've ever owned a vintage 12-inch G.I. Joe, or if you couldn't care less that it died, and good riddance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dark.
Bury it.
Cut.
It's dead.